Hey, okay, so we're back and we're ready to put in the CPU heatsink. One of the first things we had to do, show them the screw holes. See these screws actually on the heatsink? Well, the way... I gotta learn how to say their name. Gelid Solutions, let's call it that. The name Gelid Solutions, the way they did the mount on this CPU is really very, very nice. This is the original Intel mounts that came with it. I know Intel's the more expensive company, so everything comes pre-made for Intel, and then they give you the AMD option. But, so here's the deal. You take this, and you unscrew it, and pull it out, and you put the AMD clips on it. But now this raises a very interesting point, which you're going to come up with, you're going to come across over several different CPU coolers that are popular now. The CPU is located to the left or right of the memory slot. Clearance...
Or in the middle if you have 2 rows of 4.
2 rows of 4?
Of 4 RAM slots.
You've seen it actually on this side?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah.
right.
There are motherboards a little bit larger than this. They have 4 over here and 4 over here, so that you can go the full 8 and get up to like 32. Or yeah.
Okay, are we talking servers?
No, actually, the one that I want to build for my what will eventually be the Doombringer Mark II is going to be the Sabertooth, and that has a total of 8 RAM slots.
Well, go you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, be that as it may. Both of these, you will encounter a problem. Basically, if you notice how we have the rip jaws, and you see the actual chip is inside underneath the...
let's call it a shroud, for lack of a better word.
Well, basically, this is a heatsink. This really is a heatsink. I mean, it's just whisking away heat from the RAM chips. But it raises height. Now, here's the issue. This is going on top. Here's the CPU. Here's the actual cooler. Notice how this doesn't necessarily have to fit over this. So that's a problem. So you want to start, you know... I'm going to give a shout out to Micro Center because they have a return policy, which probably isn't the best shout out I could give, but you definitely want to make sure that your cooler, if you buy it and you're using any sort of high-end RAM with heat sinks on it, you definitely want to make sure that you can return it if you screw it up.
There's only so much space inside this area.
Right, exactly. So you can mount it either this, and you'll be over the cooling for Northbridge?
Yes.
Northbridge. Or you can mount it over the RAM, and you'll be over the RAM cooling. Now, there's nothing wrong being over them. This is going to whisk heat away from the general area. But the actual problem is it might not fit. So be careful. Be forewarned. Do a little research. The Noctua that I bought for later on that had that issue, and I read about it, and they said this RAM works. So thank God. Move on. Corsair is very interesting in that you can actually screw the fin part off. So imagine the heatsink only stops. The heatsink is a little bit above the RAM, and then this part you can unscrew and just take it off, and you still have the benefit of the heatsink, but not the benefit of the fins, which is
dubious.
Not dubious. I could see a need for it, but let's not go overboard. So anyway, here we go. They put compound on. If you really want to get intense, you can take the compound off. But whatever. I'm okay with their application.
And you can see it really just barely fits there. So you're good. Yeah.
Now, for the more frightening aspect of this thing,
This part is always very nerve-wracking.
this is the actual pin, like, actually getting these clips on. Well, this is the first side, so that's one. That's not going to be a problem. This is where the thing gets really fucking nerve-wracking. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well.
What can you do? Oh, God. That's what she said. Oh, God. All right. Oh, yeah.
Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, it's so tight. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's the tightest fit ever. Alrighty, so what did we learn? We learned that...
And this is not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's a really annoying kind of tension you have to put on it, because you're feeling bad, you don't want to hurt the CPU, you don't want to crush it, but you need to make contact. So you're going to give it a good push down. And my suggestion is lock it on one side and do it on the other. Don't try to be locking it down. Like, don't lock down one and then go to the other. You know, like, or push them down simultaneously. Won't work that way.
No.
Don't bother doing that.
You have to use the counter pressure one side to the other.
Right, and you want to make sure that they go underneath and you hear a snap. Basically, you hear a snap as you finally get this thing in, and it ain't going anywhere. And you can see what I was talking about the RAM. See how...
Yeah,
so
we got ample room.
Yeah, we got ample room, but if we had bought, let's say, I don't know, give me some other RAM. Corsair,
Patriot has those really long, thin fins.
Yeah, if we had bought Patriot, it wouldn't have fit, and we'd be off to Micro Center taking advantage of their excellent return policy, which I hope they don't change.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Please, Micro Center, never change.
Yes, yes. And if you do watch this video, my name is edited. Anyway, yeah. Oh, okay. By the way, a little information. I found out what this fourth plug is for. All right. Normal fans on CPUs used to spin at a constant speed. Perfectly efficient. The only problem is that sometimes if your CPU wasn't doing very much, you were spinning at top speed, and you were making a hell of a racket. So what this is an actual control circuit, not circuit, connector.
Okay.
So that it actually will throttle down the fan if the CPU is idle. So when your computer is in certain modes,
sleep mode,
idle modes, you know, it can throttle it down so it doesn't make such a racket for you.
And it's more responsive to the amount of heat and the load percentage that your CPU is under, as opposed to full speed all the time since back in the day.
Just the regular fan. And it's actually, if you can get it, I think it's better to have. But a lot of CPU fans still come in the 3-pin configuration, and that's fine. It just means that it'll be pretty much constant, constant speed. Alrighty, so right now we're done with this part of it.
Mm-hmm. We just have to put in the video cards and attach the rest of
there is something weird about this, in a way. And I'm not very happy about it, because... one of the things about this was the CPU was supposed to... Notice how the fan on the CPU cooler is in relation to the vent fan out of the case.
Yep.
This is supposed to blow air, and this is supposed to suck it out. But in this case, this is blowing air on top of it. So, not the greatest in this particular instance, but not the worst either. The air is still being removed. It'll just take longer to get the hell out of the case. Alrighty, so, with that in mind, let's start hooking it up.
Alright. Okay, we have moved the motherboard tray back into the case. We're reattaching it, and we're going to be removing some of the hard drives in here, through the spaghetti here, and that's pretty much it. Oh, I've got that little USB header, which is nice. We had to remove it when sliding it back in because it caught on the outer lip of the case, but once you put it in there, it's nice. USB 2, not USB 3. But,
and the reason we need it is because I bought a four-port hub, but the connection is actually the external connection, not the internal, which is very weird, but we'll live with it.
Alright, so there's that. The work continues.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, okay, speak up or go faster?
Just speak up.
Okay, well, we ended up having a little issue. Our issue is very simple. The power supply unit that I bought, well, actually, this is an old power supply unit, and apparently there is a power connector over here. Please show that. Okay, there's
the blue one right there.
The blue power connector right there. It's 12 volts, and we were able, unfortunately, this is not a good thing, we were able to put this PCI Express cable in. But the problem is that the PCI Express cable, oh shit. Hold, please. Alright, so the PCI Express cable has the same insertability as the cable that belongs there. Basically, if you take a look, there is a pattern of rounded edges and blunt edges all over that cable.
Yeah, rounded and squared, rounded and squared.
Right, round, square, round, square. So what happens is you have a pattern and you can push that down. Now that pattern should not be reproducible by another cable. It should only fit that cable. That's why when you plug in the power on the main board of a motherboard, it only goes one way. So we were able to actually get this cable in, but this isn't the right cable. And the way I knew that is when I looked at the specs on the motherboard. They showed across the top different voltage cables going into it, and across the bottom ground cables going into it. And this cable doesn't have some of those pins, and yet we were able to stick it in. So that's not a good thing. I'm not sure what it would have done if we turned on the case. Could have caused a lot of problems. Could be benign. I don't know, but I don't want to proceed on the basis of not knowing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stop. And we're going to go back to Micro Center.
Take advantage of their lovely return policy.
No. I can't even return it. This power supply might be 6 years old, okay?
Ah.
I mean, it worked for this Intel motherboard over there, but it didn't work for this one. So, fine. So I have to go back and buy a new power supply unit, and we'll see what I'll get. I'll probably go for $850.
Okay. That'll work.
$850.
Yeah.
Modular, I'll try to go for modular. And that's it. And I'm really sorry I wasn't able to finish this one for you tonight.
Well, it's not for you. It's for the viewers.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
the viewers.
the viewers.
You people. It's you people that caused this. Sorry, guys.
But we're gonna close this up. Perhaps we'll finish it up later this week. We'll do it too. We'll do actually part of this epic video. We'll actually do from inside of Micro Center, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right.
Back to you.
Yes. If this is in fact does turn out to be the end of this video, depending on how schedules work out this week, like, comment, subscribe. Pretty please with sugar on top. And we'll see you next week.